Hello, you're welcome to the final part of this tutorial series on creating a basic server using um, two of the most popular programming languages out there, Java and JavaScript. So in the past couple of videos, we created all the controller file for the Java, we created the entity, the user repository, the service, and we were able to also set up our database and every part of the basic things we'll be needing for this project. And if you skip that part of the tutorial, you can check the link on the description below on how to grab that section of the tutorial series. So currently we have everything in place. All what we need to do right now is to go ahead and test every of our endpoints, every of our API endpoints, and using any of the tool we have out there. You can use Postman, you can use Insomnia. If you want to work with call, you can do that, or if you want to use any of the front end framework, you can try to test this API using that as well. So I'll be using Postman, and I created a project section here for the various endpoints. So just like we have it here, let me go ahead and start the server, and then we'll test our endpoint immediately. So if everything's working out good, everything is fine, we can see our project is successfully started on port 4401, and our database is also connected as well. So now, in order for us to create a user, we need to go to the address and send a post request to localhost colon 4401, which is our port, and then we'll put a slash users, which is the address for us to create a user. So that is what I have here, localhost colon 4401 slash and then user, because that is what we are mapping our post request to. And then just like the way we have it in our user entity, we'll be needing just the name, email, and password. So let me pass in some name here of Adeyemi Juwon. And then the email is, let me just pass in Yemi, and then the password 1234, anything you want to pass in there. And once I hit the send, we can see this is created. This is created, and the email is there, the phone number, and the password. So we have the password is returning null because the key we're passing here is not the same with what we have in our entity. If you can see from here, the password is returning null because we are passing password here, and our entity is requesting this. So if I try to change that right now, and instead of password, I put in what we actually have there within our entity due to the typo we have, and if I try to send it, we can see our record is saved successfully. So the first one was not having a password because we're not sending in the right key. Now we can see when we try to use the right thing there, we have the password being sent. So you can correct that from your entity file and just come here, and instead of this typo right here, you can pass in password. So since I'm on VS Code, I can just hold and correct everywhere I have the typo, and this will be corrected. Okay, so we have our password corrected, and we can go ahead and restart our project once again. Okay, Spring Boot app is started, running on port 4401. Now we can send the right key, which is password, and once we hit on the send request here, you can see our user is created. So currently we have one record in our database. Let me create another one once again. Let me create Chukwudi Ebube, and then the password and the email is ebube@gmail.com. Password is 1234. Once I hit that, Chukwudi Ebube has been created. We can see the email and the password, and the ID is now 2, which is auto-generated from our database. Now if we try to get all record, just like we have the get mapping here, let me go to my user controller. Let's see the way we map every of our requests. So now, to get all the record, we say we should send the get request to this address. So it's just HTTP once again, the port, and then users, and that is expecting a get request. So if I try to send the get this time around, we see the two record we created. Okay, now if you don't pass the correct path, let me instead of users, I'm just passing in user or all user. Now if I try to get that, then we'll get this 404 error. The route is not there. We don't have this route in our Express web application. The correct route is user, because that is what we are mapping through here with our get request. So if I correct that and I hit the get request once again, we see every of our record coming back. Same way with the get user by ID. So we map that so this endpoint users, then slash, then we'll pass in the ID. So I have the route here, user slash ID. So if I want to get this user with the ID of let me get the user with the ID of 1, so that's just passing the ID there. So that is returning us a DME. And if we want to get the second person, which is the ID of 2, if I hit on the get request once again, that is returning us the second person, which is CRUD. Now if we want to update a user, the endpoint for that here, obtaining a user, same thing, but this time around we map that to a patch request. So we slash user slash ID, so which is what we have, which is what I have here, user slash ID. So I want to update the person with the ID of 1. So I want to change the name to John Doe, and then I want to change the email to doe@soft.com, and then the password I also want to update that. So once I hit on the request, our record is now updated from what we have previously. Let me go to get by ID once again. Now if you check all, we have a DME previously. This record has been updated. So once I hit on get all once again, it's now updated to John Doe and the email as well. So lastly, let us test the delete endpoint, delete user with the ID of 2. Once I hit on that, we can see the user is deleted successfully. And if I try to get all the record once again, we're going, previously we have 2 records. We've deleted the user with the ID of 2. Once we hit on the get, that is gone. We only have just 1 record within our database. So that is basically it. That is how you create a basic CRUD application with Spring Boot, and this is very, very basic, just like I said from the onset. Then this is how you can get it started. Now if you check, we are having our password being saved, as we're not encrypting our password, which is not the right way of going about it. It is very important every of those the password should be encrypted before saving it in your database, but for this brief tutorial series we are not doing that. In the next couple of videos we will work on more secure security secure parts of the project, where we encrypt our password, and then where we can also work on error handling, exception handling, and all of that. Because if we try to test right now, if we try to delete this user by ID, this user is currently not there in the database. Now if you hit the get request, we'll get the message of user does not exist, and our status code is still 200, and that is not the correct status code you're supposed to send if the record is not there in your database. 200 falls within the success category, so we need to send 400, a failure status code of user does not exist in the database. So in the next tutorial section, we'll work on the exception handling, the status code, and the encrypting of a password. We're adding more feature with sending in some JWT token, and we're also adding some Spring security functionality. So that is basically it. Thank you very much for sticking around. Thank you for watching the videos, and see you in the next section of the video tutorial. If you have any comments, anything you want, you can if you have anything, you can put it on the comment section. If you have any questions or anywhere you're not clear about, you can put it on the comment section, and I will try my possible best to respond to that. So thank you, and see you in the next section.